Organization is the
They I streamed for like 8 hours.
The government project right from the start.
Your host, Julie Kennedy.
organization is the
They I streamed for like 8 hours.
The government project right from the start.
Your host, Julie Kennedy.
organization is the
They I streamed for like 8 hours.
The government project right from the start.
Your host, Julie Kennedy.
organization is the
They I streamed for like 8
The
hours.
government project right from the start.
Your host, Julie Kennedy.
organization is the
They I streamed for like 8
The
hours.
government project right from the start.
Your host, Julie Kennedy.
organization is the
They I streamed for like 8
The
hours.
government project right from the start.
Your host, Julie Kennedy.
organization is the
They I streamed for like 8
The
hours.
government project right from the start.
Your host, Julie Kennedy.
organization is the
They I streamed for like 8
The
hours.
government project right from the start.
Your host, Julie Kennedy.
organization is the
They I streamed for like 8
The
hours.
government project right from the start.
Your host, Julie Kennedy.
organization is the
They I streamed for like 8
The
hours.
government project right from the start.
Your host, Julie Kennedy.
organization is the
They I streamed for like 8
The
hours.
government project right from the start.
Your host, Julie Kennedy.
organization is the
They I streamed for like 8
The
hours.
government project right from the start.
Your host, Julie Kennedy.
organization is the
They I streamed for like 8
The
hours.
government project right from the start.
Your host, Julie Kennedy.
Oops, what's going on? Good evening. Oh, hold on. Actually, I could do this. Hold on. All right. Good evening. All right. You know, Leslie's retarded. I just got to say, Leslie's retarded. Like, I would actually get up right now and, like, just start taking out all my clothes. But I'm not going to feed into the hatred and the hatery I deal with the hate every single day, and I love it. So I'm going to let you continue to hate from the sidelines. Okay? Good evening. I'm David Gokhshtein. Welcome to the Nightly Recap powered by GNN. That is Gokhshtein News Network. Your trusted source of politics, crypto, and everything in between that makes you question reality. If you or a fellow degenerate are battling chronic trench disorder, do yourself a favor and get some help. A lot of you are down bad right now, spiraling and crying because you're lost. There's still hope. Send Landy a DM, he'll get you right and get your head straight. And no, I won't say which head. I want everybody to know, obviously, Leslie is spreading vicious rumors out here. Apparently, she's putting out here that I wear the same clothes all the time. And obviously, anybody who slept with me knows that that is not the truth. So I just want to, I will acknowledge her once and once only. That the people that have slept with me, and I might have slept with your girl, know the truth. Okay? Let's keep it 100 out here. You know, I'm now starting to understand that even while my beard, okay, and I didn't even get my hair cut yet, tomorrow, I am one of the most sexiest people on social media. My haters watch me all the time. Shout out to my haters. I need you. I need you. Continue, I need you. Anyway, let's get to the news, shall we? Robinhood wants in on the big one. And then not talking about my dick. Robinhood has started talks with regulators about offering tokenized shares. CEO Vlad Tenev described tokenization as the most significant innovation of the past decade. Shout out to Coney Island, you know what I'm saying? All right. Shout out to Robinhood, because we need Robinhood to bring in all the retail buyers, okay? We need Robinhood to bring in everybody. Okay. BioSig just went heavy. Following its merger with Streamix, BioSig has raised $1.1 billion in fund to fund the tokenization of commodities markets. Let's go. It's just more bullish news every single day, more bullish news. Man, I wish I ate pizza, man. I haven't ate pizza in such a long time. I miss pizza. That's the one thing that I miss. You know, with this biohacking stuff, man, that's the one thing that I miss is pizza. Anyway, Reserve One is not playing around. Reserve One plans to launch a Bitcoin and crypto treasury following a $1 billion transaction and is preparing to go public. Let's go. More companies we never heard of, but they're all going to Bitcoin and they're all getting crypto. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it and you really want to show it, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Bitcoin becomes the boss. Remix Point will pay its CEO's entire salary in Bitcoin, marking the first time a publicly listed company in Japan has done so. Let's fucking go. Can't stop. Oh, shit. No Diddy. I was about to say can't stop, won't stop. No Diddy, no baby oil. BlackRock just made history. BlackRock's iShares Bitcoin ETF has surpassed 700,000 Bitcoin, marking its most successful ETF in history. Let's go. Nothing but bullish news. Nothing but bullish news. Keep going. We keep going. Nothing but bullish news. Let me drink my water. Don't you wish I was gay? All right. Damn it. Truth Social aims for the moon. Truth Social has filed an S1 to launch a crypto blue chip ETF. Let's go. Send my shit much, much higher. Send this shit much, much higher. I feel so good when I'm on my game, bitches. I'm on my game, bitches. It's game time. All right. Congress dives into the chain. The U.S. House says it's taking historical steps to ensure that the country remains the global leader in crypto. More bullish news. More bullish news. We got more bullish news. Damn. Damn. Yo, we can't stop. Yo, why are they talking like people talking crazy? I gotta tell you, people are broke. Somebody put welfare on chain. Help these people. Trump has had enough of Epstein. And this is where I disagree with my boy. This is where I disagree with my boy Trump. This is where I disagree with him. President Trump snapped at a reporter over a question about Jeffrey Epstein, dismissing it with disbelief that people were still talking about Jeffrey Epstein and calling it unbelievable. Lower the motherfucking music. Lower the motherfucking music. You heard? Lower the motherfucking music, man. Okay. It's lowered. Listen. Donald Trump, I'm on here all the time. I'm producing content out here. You know. Okay? You know. Shit. Oops. You know how I feel, man. I feel like you're one of the greatest presidents of all time. This was not the comment. This was not the comment. This was not what I was expecting, President Trump. I was not expecting this. There is Democrats, Republicans, independents, anybody who has a soul and that can put their political beliefs to the side. This is a very important issue. And it deserved a better answer. This was not the answer. This was not the answer. And you know what? This is not the public wants the files because the files were promised from the administration. The files were promised from the DOJ and the FBI. These were promises made from you as well on the campaign trail. The answer to the reporter's question, whether a Democrat, Republican, whether reporting from CNN, this wasn't right. You should have let Pam answer. You should have not gone in and tried to save her. I know you're upset. Donald Trump, President Trump, I know you're upset. I know you're upset. Your people dropped the ball. Your people dropped the ball with the Epstein files. What happens in the future, if these things are released, it doesn't matter. In the current, you drop the ball. So this is the first time that I'm out here saying, like, man, MAGA dropped the ball on this. And yes, other administrations like Obama's and Biden's could have come out with the Epstein list as well. Not the point. You have done a lot, like dropping RFK's files and JFK's files and Martin Luther King's files. You were excited to drop the Epstein files, and Pat Bondi came out and she said that there's a client list, or she agreed that there's a client list. And maybe she misspoke. Maybe she misspoke. Because on the other channels that she went on to afterwards, she never made mention of it again. I'll be fair here. She never mentioned it again. But there has to be a client list. There has to be sexual predators that we don't know about. There have to be these pedophiles that were a part of this ring that molested little kids. I don't want to see the videos. I said this already. I don't want to see the videos. I don't keep that shit locked up forever. Put out the names. Put out the names. You're gonna have to. You're just going to have to. This issue is not going to go away, and it will. I feel like it will leave a ding on the presidency, because there are people. The worst thing in the world, the worst thing that anybody can do is touch a child or harm a child. So this issue is not going to go away. You can't just push it to the side. When you have something like this that's happened, it cannot be brushed away. It can't be. It cannot be. The families deserve justice. I hope that, and listen, I have a feeling that behind the scenes, maybe shit is getting done. But publicly, here's the problem. I can say behind the scenes, I am confident that you guys are getting the job done. But front-facing optics are stating otherwise. The people don't like being told one thing and having something else being said. And that's it. That you can't make up excuses. Landy, you can't make up. We can't, as Republicans, we cannot make up excuses. This is what it is. I don't care about Diddy right now. I'm focused on literally Trump's answer today. I am a strong MAGA head. I am a proud Republican. I voted for Trump. This ain't right. We gotta call it as it is. I call Trump's wins out. I call all of Trump's wins out. There hasn't been a day where I haven't been bashed by ugly liberals. I've stood my business. I've defended Trump and the entire administration for the last 6 months, even saying that Elon is wrong. This is wrong. Landy, you got the link. You can come here. I'll be more than happy to bring you on. I'll be more than happy to bring you on. Okay? I have no problem discussing the subject with you. But at the end of the day, I didn't like the answer from Trump today. It was a horrible answer. And there's no way to spin this. I don't care if it's Benny Johnson, whoever. Name a Republican influencer. I think today you're in shock. You're in shock by the answer. You have to be. You have to be. The best way that they should have gone about this is never promise. That's it. That's all. But the victims deserve justice. The victims deserve justice. The victims don't deserve to have their names put on full display. So all these crackheads that want to know who the victims are, no, you don't. The victims shouldn't be out here, be put out here without their permission. But the pedophiles, these vicious, sick individuals, they deserve to be put on full display. Landy joins me right now. Let me bring Landy in here. Fortunately, Landy, I don't know how to fucking put up a picture of you and stuff, but Landy, Landy.
Automatic.
Landy, I guess Landy's picture appears out of nowhere.
I think Leslie set it up. Shout out Leslie. Uh, no, this is this. I don't disagree with anything you're saying. I actually fully agree. That answer was shit. And but it begs the question, a much larger question, is obviously whatever they have. I was just discussing this a little bit earlier. Is that everyone who touches anything surrounding the Epstein case, they go in all gung ho and they come out like zombies. Like what did they really see? What is really going on behind the scenes? What are the implications if they were to, and I've said this and I've maintained this for a while. I don't think that there's like some coordinated list that he kept, but they have a list of people who are associated with him and utilizing those services, and obviously had blackmailed, that he was blackmailing, right? But how far does it go? Because we tend to think of like, oh, here in the United States and the politicians that we know of and the powerful players that we know of that went to that flew on the Lolita Express to the island, right? And um, it begs the question: is it so much bigger than just these powerful people here, but more that could have bigger implications for not just society here in the United States, because who knows how widespread it really was and what it connects to, but potentially outside of the United States that could have global implications that, could blow back on the United States, because everyone that's been gung ho about it tucks tail and runs away as fast as they possibly can. So it begs the question, like, how bad could it possibly be, right? And I don't think we're ever going to get that context now. I think it's done and dusted now, quite honestly.
I just, Landy, like I'm a proud Republican and I love MAGA. I love everything about MAGA. I think Trump, and I say this with that, I'm not sarcastic when I say that I think he's going to go down as one of the greatest presidents of all time. That's how I feel. Nobody has to feel the same way as me. Especially what he's done in the last 6 months. I think it's been incredible. He's basically fought everybody. He's fought Democrats. He's fought now Elon, who's turned on him. Benedict Arnold that's his new name to me. Again, I don't agree with Elon on this. Absolutely not. I don't think Elon understands how politics really, really work, the insides and outs. I think if he wanted
Trump
to help,
didn't
he
either
could have.
when he first got in, right?
I mean, yeah, exactly. And like I feel like Elon could have sat with him and learned. But Elon has a huge ego. I respect everything he's built out. I respect that he bought X and gave us the ability to speak freely. But I mean, I just feel that his ego went ahead and went into play here. And they talk about buying politicians. Well, it seems like Elon couldn't buy, in the way I look at it right now, he couldn't buy Trump, so he started his own party, and so he'll be like an unofficially elected official, which I think is whatever. Anyway,
Well,
but the answer today, it was really honestly, look, I don't think if the Democrat, I tried to explain this to Leslie yesterday, but you know what, Leslie, she doesn't listen. When I talk to her, it's like she's listening to react, not listening to actually understand what I'm saying. If the Democrats, if there was anything, if Trump was involved more than just being on the flight logs, the Democrats, I can guarantee you, they went through everything, every single piece of information that they have. And they found nothing. Because if they had something, I am telling you right now, the case against Trump in New York City was just garbage. It was bullshit. They would have never done the New York City case. If they found something on Trump that related to fucking and went back to Epstein, they would have had his ass. He would have never became president.
I agree.
Wholeheartedly.
They wouldn't have had to try to kill him.
The
They would have
Democrats
gotten him right out. They would have gotten him
exactly,
right out.
and I'm telling you right now, and this is what I try to get out here, and I couldn't because Leslie kept interrupting me. At the end of the day, she was like saying, "Well, they can't because the Democrats are involved." The Democrats are willing to sacrifice their own people. Do not think for a second they would have not sacrificed 10 to 20 whoever Democrats to make sure that Trump doesn't get into office. Do not think for 1 second they would not have done that. They would have. And that was really my argument to tell Leslie, like, I love your conspiracies. Great. Continue your shows every Sunday. Go out to the border, talk to politicians, talk to people. Talk to fence jumpers for all I care. Okay. But at the end of the day, you are absolutely fucking dead wrong on this very subject. That's it. Trump's not on there. We've known that Trump's been on the flight list for a very long time because them fucking papers came out a long time ago.
Yeah.
So
Well, there's
again,
other people too that were less prominent that they couldn't cooperate, and whether through the leaked documentation or even the more recent official documentation, which actually had, we had more information through the leaked documentation. That he was also a businessman, so not every interaction of every person, and that's probably what makes it a very difficult thing as well, because there's probably a lot of people that didn't have anything to do with it. Much like there was many people that surrounded Diddy that probably didn't have anything to do with the party scene after the fact, right? But the fact of the matter is they all commingle and they're all connected in some way, whether through businesses or associates or power structures or politics, that it becomes a clusterfuck, right? And this is where I just really feel like observing this in the past, what is it? We're going on 6 years now, right? 2019 was the raid when he was arrested, right? And when he passed away. And so it was somewhere early in 2019. This tells me that there is so much there that they feel like it's more than protecting individuals, that it's protecting something much larger, whether it be the nation state itself, or whether they feel like it could unravel society because of the far reaching implications, or whether it could implicate those who could potentially take punitive action against the United States for releasing this information. We just don't know. And I'm 100% there with you. Like, if they had anything on Trump, they would have used it. They exhausted
100
all their ammo,
way
literally and figuratively.
they would have done. They would have never sent, listen, they sent James Comey after him. They sent everybody, the FBI, every single agency that you can think of. They sent after this man. They didn't have anything. Let's ask the bigger question. Elon's talking about Trump was on in the Epstein files, right? Then that means that let's play a hypothetical here. That means that Elon has seen the files and Elon is withholding information again. And I'm going to call this speculation. I'm hypothetically speaking. Am I wrong?
How would Elon have ever seen the files?
Well, if he's coming out and making such statements, slanderous
What, like
statements,
Bannon?
without seeing the file, then he's seen the files, right? And if he's seen the files, then you're
Who would have
withholding
given him
information. Why?
access? He literally had no part of. I mean, I doubt that he would even have the clearance. I bet you that stuff's so highly classified that even he wouldn't. You got to have, eyes only clearance for some of this stuff. It's higher than top secret kind of stuff. Special classification territory. I would almost guarantee it. And that's where maybe the rumor mills the rumor mill in DC is always churning, right? Because they trying to churn and burn somebody and twist somebody up in some way to get something out of it at the end of the day. But, I really do think that I'm very disappointed. But also at the same side of that is like, okay, at some point you have to think, if Democrats aren't willing to go there, and now Republicans aren't willing to go there, is it more than just protecting powerful figures who are going to die soon anyway, right? What is it after? What's after that, right? There has to be much more to the story outside of what our limited scope and understanding of the whole Epstein situation is. But because we already know how Maxwell connected to Hollywood and the whole Hollywood ring and the Weinsteins, and we know about the music industry, right? And Diddy. They've got many of these players that they juggle. And this is not just, it's very obvious. It's not just the United States intelligence services, it's other prominent intelligence services from around the world. So what if you pull on that string and you let that list of suspects out there, what are the wider reaching implications outside of them? And I don't know. It just seems like, Trump has gotten done a lot of his agenda. Whether people disagree or agree with what his agenda is a different story. He is executed on his agenda to this point, even with battling the courts and all the rest of the shit that he's been trying to get done. You might not agree with what his agenda is, but saying that he's not doing anything, complete nonsense. You just might not like what he's doing. And this is a big, big miss. It's an optics miss from the first day that they started talking about the Epstein files. From the first time that Bondi opened her mouth and they said that they were going to release something and did the big photo op bullshit with the binders. You mentioned that earlier today, right? It was bullshit, right? And all of the information that was in there was information that we had already been leaked, and in some cases we don't know officially or unofficially, and through who, but some had been confirmed to this point already, and those binders had redactions for information we already knew. And
Exactly.
it's like, okay, what was the point of this? From the very moment it hit, it was a really rough go of it. And I think you had mentioned like Bongino and Cash. They did the circuit, the entire circuit. And remember, they're appointed. They're not they weren't elected, right? So they were appointed by Trump and the Trump admin. And their whole thing the entire way through up to this point was, one of their core tenets was getting that shit out there and clearing the air and making sure that the public knew, because the public needs to know this information. I mean, Bongino had his podcast and Cash went on every single podcast you could think of that he could possibly find. And then they get cagey. Like, what is, because it's clearly not coming from Trump. He got them in that position for a reason, right? He knew what their ideals are. He knows what their agendas were. He knows what they wanted to fight for and what they spoke about. He's not ignorant, right? So there's people like, oh well, he's bringing them to heel. Like, wait, that doesn't make any sense though. You just don't nominate them for the appointment then if you don't want the people to go sniffing around. It makes no sense. So
I agree with you, Landy. Hold your thought real quick. Let me just, because I find this topic interesting, obviously. I just want to get through. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4 other
there's more
news events that happened.
Go ahead.
So I'll just say this quickly. We'll run this down. Welcome, by the way, guys. Welcome to the nightly recap powered by GNN. I'm joined by Landy, who's a part of the GNN network. Tune into his TA analysis on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. If you want to smarten up and make some money in this industry, might want to go ahead and tune into his stuff. Again, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And he's also obviously a contributor on the political scene with our network here at GNN. Real quick, Powell might need a lawyer. President Trump called on Congress to launch an investigation into Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell. So, he's still bickering at him. Nobody here likes Jerome. Everybody wants rate cuts. He don't want to do no rate cuts, which leads into more things that Trump stated. Trump says that inflation was a lie. President Trump claimed tariffs have had zero effect on inflation, accusing Fed Chair Jerome Powell of whining about a non-existent inflation for months and urging him to cut inflation and, cut interest rates. 7 countries better get ready. President Trump is expected to announce trade decisions involving at least 7 countries tomorrow morning. And the last one The last one is debt just broke its own record. The U.S. national debt has officially hit a new all-time high. It's first since February. So those are the last four stories on the newscast today. So I really wanted to talk about obviously what happened. Landy, and I don't care about the Fed or Jerome Powell. I hope they get out of here. I'm tired of them. But and I think we all agree. We all
Well,
agree
he
on
lied
this.
under oath about the Fed building stuff. So
Yeah.
they're going to get him one way or another, right?
100%. So moving towards, thank God, because I only had 6% on I forgot to go ahead and power up the iPad here, but I wish, honestly, number one, I wish Trump never responded to a reporter. I wish he let Pam Bondi do it and not insert himself. Because I saw him, I looked at him today when he did that. He's pissed off. Like, there's one thing that I can see, he's pissed.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's mad at the way that, I got to say it, I think he's mad at the way that Cash and Pam Bondi handled this situation. I really think he is. Like, he said he'll release the files, but I think the circus around the way that the phase one of it and all this stuff, the
Mhm.
way it's been done, I think he's pissed off because I don't think he would have went about it that way. I don't think he personally would have went about it that way. So, but and the influencers out there are celebrating like it's the greatest achievement of all time. That was a crock of shit. There are real individuals that were obviously tortured by Epstein and others, and there are people that really just want to know who are these predators, and
Yeah.
are they working within the government? Are they controlling high power positions within the government? I think it's a fair question to ask. The U.S. citizens, a citizen here has the right to ask these questions. Who's, JD Vance, look back, the people are starting to bring back old tweets like JD Vance, like old tweet from 2021. I think you've probably seen it.
Yep.
Where
Oh
he's
yeah, I
like,
know it well.
we can ring this all up and now everybody's like, okay, what are we talking about? It's not going to go away. And you know what? I hate to say this, and I know like everybody thinks this is going to be like short-term memory, but it's not, because like when it comes to kids and kids being molested, it's a serious subject for Democrats and Republicans. That's one thing that can probably both agree totally on. No matter
Yeah.
who's in the House, who's in the Oval Office, it doesn't matter. Those two parties definitely agree that you need to go ahead and castrate these motherfuckers. So who's really, who's in the government right now that participated? Who sits in the Senate, in the House? Who's a public figure that we don't know about, that was, not just using the plane. Obviously, there are people like RFK Jr. They came out and they stated, listen, I only went on the plane 2 or 3 times, and that's only because this man was willing to lend me his plane to get to a vacation that my family wanted to go to. So you have people, and obviously that we understand that as normal, rational human beings understand that this guy used certain people to build his network, right?
Yep.
But then like the pedophiles, you had pedophiles basically, not just flying on these planes, they were using these planes to fly to this island to do obviously atrocious things to underage kids.
Underage kids, yeah. And we don't even know the extent of it. We have, and I think that's actually, what I'm really disappointed in is like you could see that Trump was clearly pissed today, and I'd venture to bet that because the DOJ had already we already knew that the video stuff from the jail were incoming, right? And it's pretty clear that that memo that's supposed to be an internal memo might have been a retyped memo. We still don't know or have any answers on that. There's no confirmation or denial, but it's clear that information leaked, and this was an unplanned leak that coincided with the release of the DOJ video evidence from the jail. And then, of course, there's a minute missing, or 58 seconds to be exact, I guess, missing from that particular footage. So this, this was obviously a tactical leak to damage optics. Maybe they had more to say on the subject, and they're gonna, put a lid on it and then maybe talk about it later, or maybe they just try to push another. They can't. You
Landy,
can't put the genie
did,
back in the bottle.
did
Though.
you see how flustered? And listen, you know how supportive I am of Trump and the administration, right? Like, I'm not just, I wouldn't say this unless I believed it, like I'm watching the press secretary yesterday, and people didn't make mention of her not wearing her cross, which
Mhm.
she always wears, right? And that's true. She always wears it.
She always wears it. Yeah.
Yesterday, she didn't wear it, and she looked flustered. Like,
Mhm.
that's the first time that I saw her looking. She didn't look right.
No.
Like, that's the first time she wasn't on a game. She looked
looked
like
like
she
she
really
was
wanted to leave.
lying.
Yeah.
She looked
Like,
like she was lying. It looks like everybody's lying, and that's the problem. And I'll be honest, it's incredibly disheartening to see, um, because this is not an issue that is going to go away on either side. It quiets down when it quieted down, I should say, and only picked back up steam once the Ghislaine Maxwell trial was going under the last administration. But it quieted down because the media didn't participate. They chose not to participate in amplifying anything outside of Epstein, and they chose ratings for the Ghislaine Maxwell trial, and then immediately killed off any more stories about it, right? And so the media is amplifying this for political purposes because they know they can, right? And they brought the temperature down under the last administration, and this is in an effort to really utilize this as a political football now, because they know that the Trump administration on this particular issue has completely fumbled, and that is 100% accurate. And it's disappointing because of those promises that were made. And I don't know if they'll be able to, from an optics point of view, massage us back in their direction, because the only thing that would do it is the release of information about the clients,
they have
right?
to. Landy. Like, I'm telling you right now, they gotta release the, like, okay, so they say they never said client list, but okay, fine. You don't want to use that term, no problem. You don't want to use the label, no problem. Tell us exactly who participated, because there's videos there's 100% videos of everything that was going on that island. There's
Mhm.
paperwork. If you don't have the paperwork, if obviously we found out the FBI in New York City, right? They were up to like hiding all those documents, right? That's
Yeah.
clear evidence there, right? Democratic officials were hiding
Yep.
from Pat, right? Because she didn't have all the files. She learned that I think it was like the third day, right, or some shit like that. They learned that they didn't have the files.
Yeah.
I would accept this. Okay, here's two things I would accept. One, here's the truth, guys. We thought we had everything. We didn't. Our own people went ahead and got rid of this information. I'd actually accept that. Because you had a guy resign over it, right? You had an FBI
Mhm.
agent resign over it. So
Mhm.
I could accept that. That's one answer I could have accepted. But you're going to have to come, like, it doesn't matter at this point. This is now Trump's, I'm going to get deeper into this, and I can't believe, like, thinking about it more and more, this is on Trump's legacy now.
Yeah, absolutely. Doesn't
You're
matter
going
that other
you have
it
to come
doesn't
out with it.
matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter that other administrations didn't do anything. It's gonna matter that this ad that the promise was made and not kept, and that will be a stain on his
You know what,
legacy.
Landy? I don't even think it's the promise. I think more so it's You know what's got a lot? I've been reading a lot of Republican takes. I'm not reading the Democrats are just going to be, looking for anything, right? I'm
Yeah.
more so reading the Republican takes, and Republicans are just like, are you kidding me? Like, even after today's comment made it worse.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you thought it was a quieting down a little bit, today's comment completely just, he threw kerosene on the fire. It exploded with comments like, are you serious right now? Which leads to all these things of, oh my God, it's Israel covering shit. You know where it's going, like where I'm going with this. It's
Yeah, the
like,
Netanyahu visit
that's
and
it.
yada yada yada. Yeah, I know. I read it all.
So
Yeah.
that, just come out with the list. You have people's names. Come out with it. Come out with the list. List the people that were a part of it. Okay, maybe you don't know everybody. Maybe some of the files are hidden. Somebody stole them. Somebody burned them, deleted them. I
I'll
understand.
be honest with you, David. They've had a long time to destroy evidence. So I always thought it was kind of a fool's errand to even make that promise, because how can you not, and to be walked right into it as well, and making that promise, and likely a lot of that evidence has either been destroyed or obfuscated, or
So why
moved
not
to
state
foreign
that?
intelligence
Why
agencies.
not why not state that even if you made the promise? Why not just state it? Say,
I don't
"Hey,
know,
like,
but it's
the
blown up in their
evidence was."
face now either way, right?
No, but, like, okay, I promise you I'm gonna release, if I was running for president, right, like Trump, I promise to release the Epstein files. I come in, I see that the Epstein files are missing, okay? I would come out as the president of the United States and I state, "Listen, I made a promise to you guys. Unfortunately, I didn't know that we have people in our government who have went ahead and destroyed 50% of the evidence." Like,
Yeah.
I think people would understand that. That's
Mhm.
okay. And you name the individuals, because if that's the truth, then you name them, right? Certain
Yeah.
individuals working in whatever agency went ahead and destroyed it, and they will now, you know, be dealt with, investigated, and thrown into jail, whatever it is.
I think that the real problem is, though, were the Pam Bondi comments of "It's on my desk and I'm reviewing" and stuff like that. Like,
Yeah, but
when
she's answering a reporter though, Landy. Like that. Did you see? Did you see the
yeah.
clip?
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
she's
no, I've
never
seen the
said it
clip.
again. That was the only time she said it's. I think like honestly, I think she misspoke and she said it's on my. I have a truckload on my desk.
Yeah. The
I
problem is
think she
that's not
misspoke.
how it's gonna ever be
Yeah,
remembered, especially now,
what
right?
100%,
Truth doesn't
100%.
and it doesn't matter now, because we know that, that there is some there that they could potentially release. And I get the optics too, because say you have all these files to release, and they release files and it's a bunch of Democrat names, no Republicans, right? Here in the United States. Maybe it's different investors from around the world that have supported the then it could be seen as very political, and why are you hiding the rest and covering up for all these other people, right? So like they have to just release whatever they have, and the outcome be damned, right? Because the people are never going to stop demanding this. Never, never. It will become memed to the point where they cannot ignore. And we live in an ever connecting society with information. So,
And Trump's ego can't handle this. You saw the reaction today. That was his ego.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't. People are saying he's hiding. He's hiding the information because he's trying to protect his friend. I don't think Trump's that guy.
No, he will
Trump
chew
wants to
through
be
you.
known as like the guy who went ahead and showed you, look, I delivered on my promise. Like I keep saying this. Trump's ego is so big. He wants to make sure that and you look at him and the history books write him in as one of the greatest presidents of all time.
Yeah. No, I agree. I would argue that, I would argue that maybe, as he's gotten older, that the ego portion is more of a show. Um, that
Nah,
I don't know.
Landy. He's all no, but that, and I mean it in a good way though. His
He's a
ego's so
showman.
big. I love his ego. It's the reason why we're successful right now.
I get it, but I also think that it's for show. It's a persona that you have to keep
Yeah.
up, right?
Bill
So
Maher said that. Bill Maher said he's a different individual behind the scenes than he
mhm.
is the one that the public sees, and he wishes that everybody can see the person that he met behind the scenes. Okay, I can give you that, but I think his ego is just big. But that makes every great person, every great leader, every great sports player has had a tremendous ego. That's why
Yeah,
they're
no,
great.
I agree. And this is I mean, what outside of just releasing what they have, whatever that might be, do you think that there is any way for them to potentially try to remediate this particular issue?
No,
Yeah, it seems to be the only one. Yeah, I think so too.
I
I
thought
mean,
about it the entire day. I thought maybe you had something. I thought you had something like a take on it, but every single person that I've spoken to about this, regardless of party affiliation, is just like I don't even know how like how do you, unless you come out with the list because you promised it, no, or we should say he promised it and then his people really promised it. They ran on this. The people that are nominated and currently in their
yeah.
current positions. How do you how do you get out of this without releasing names? You have to. And
I
now
mean,
you're at the point that even if you release names, nobody's gonna believe it because they're gonna think it's just a psyop to get people off of their backs. So it might be
yeah.
just people that are randomly get selected just so they can get fucked.
Well,
This is I'm telling you, these are gonna be the conversations because they
but
put themselves in that position.
remember, he was being attacked for not promising this because he didn't actually speak too much about it during the campaign. It was more of the release, the press release for the campaign promises, and it was a lot of the people that he surrounded himself with were very loud about it. Um, and I think that my real take on this is that there is something that is so much bigger at hand that is probably much bigger than just here in the United States that could have, we don't know.
I get
To
it.
give benefit of the doubt could have bigger
You wanna
implications.
say that, like, presidents are involved from different countries.
Uh, I would say that it might even go deeper than that. But I can almost guarantee you, yeah, of course, there's presidents involved. There's even there was a king who was quite friendly with Epstein, right? Like,
Yeah.
so, we already know a lot, but we also assume a lot more. And the only reason that I could think for that is for this big of a fumble, and then what looks like trying to whitewash it away is that there are implications for the American people and potentially the country itself that are far beyond. But who knows? Maybe war, maybe threats of war, maybe economic warfare. Who knows? Like what that really entails, because our political class has been so infected by foreign money and foreign influence here that who knows? And a lot of people want to blame just one country, and that's not accurate. There's a lot of foreign influence in Washington, D.C., and that that could potentially lead to much larger implications if it had something to do with the safety of the American people, if it had something to do with the society that we live in, and possibly maybe even economic collapse on the other side of it. I think it has to be so far reaching that it's more than just these political figures and these powerful people. It has to be something that is above that, because it's not just the Republicans that see it, don't want to touch it. It's the Democrats too. And it doesn't I don't think I think that there are good people who are on the Democrat side of the aisle. I think that there's honest people. They don't believe the same things I believe, or or want the same policy prescriptions that I want to see personally, but I guarantee there are actually good people there. They're not all bad. Same with Republicans and independents, right? But the fact of the matter is, no one wants to touch this. If it's so toxic, it's got to be way bigger than we're outing these these political figures, these presidents, these foreign presidents, these foreign heads of state. It's got to be bigger than that. There has to be some underlying reason why this hasn't been exposed. And I think that even if we do get something, it's probably going to be heavily, heavily curtailed and redacted for what we get. I just don't see another way around it,
Yeah.
especially if the implications are so large. Like, who do you implicate? Who do you throw under the bus and who don't you throw under the bus? Right?
I don't know.
You either throw everyone under the bus or you throw no one under the bus. And maybe that's where they were at with it. I don't know. No one knows. I just know that I'm disappointed. I want to see everyone thrown under the bus. I want to
Yeah.
see it all out there.
When it comes to kids, I think for minors and anybody underage to have them this human trafficking and stuff, and um it's just weird that I get it. I don't want sensitive material to get out there, of the actual acts being pushed out to the internet. Like, that's not, I don't think any normal human being is seeking that. It's just, I think
Yeah.
everybody, regardless of party affiliation, just wants to know who the fuck would participated. Fuck it, blow it up, blow it up. In terms
Yeah.
of if it was Republicans and Democrats, fucking blow it up.
How do you
Yeah,
prosecute? Right? Because
yeah,
evidence has to be shown, though. Right? How do you prosecute and show evidence? What if you start implicating people, brings it to prosecution, but because of the evidence, that can't be out in the open?
I
So
know.
now that person walks. What if they walk like Diddy? Like, we'll walk on some of these major charges, they get a slap on the wrist. Now you're in a really bad situation, right? So who
Yeah,
knows what's being considered? I don't give a shit. I want names. I want to know who. And I think that the American people are smart enough and are able to discern, and that's dangerous for the power structures that be anyway. So there's multiple angles to come at it from, because there's people who are clearly still around and still able to exercise influence, whether it's foreign heads of state, previous heads of state here, people who are in current positions. Maybe we don't know. We have no clue, right? Powerful people on Wall Street, tech entrepreneurs. Who knows, right? How far it goes and what other types of once you start to unravel or pull on that string, does it unravel other things that are connected to Epstein with other types of operations like what he was running? And I think that if you're going to bring the house down, you just bring it down. You
yeah. Just
burn
rip
it
the
all
band-aid
down.
off at this point,
Yeah.
man. It's only fair. Listen, the American people deserve it. We elect the officials, not the other way around. So, um, I think it's only fair. Hey, Trump, be that guy. Be that guy that says, you know what, fuck it. But I get it. Could have a lot of implications globally, and it could affect the markets. I don't know. I just, who the fuck knows what this guy did? Honestly, I don't know what the. Well, we know what he did, but who the fuck knows who was a part of this? Seriously,
We
like,
think
who
we know
really
what he
fucking
did.
knows?
Maybe it was way bigger. Maybe what he was doing was way bigger than just that, right? Maybe he was way sicker, right? And that doesn't mean that you don't release it though. I'm just saying, like, we don't
Yeah,
know. We only know
that's wild.
what's been leaked and what came
That's
out of
wild.
the Ghislaine Maxwell stuff, right? That's the only stuff we really know.
Yeah.
And I think that after a little while, more and more of the conversations like what you and I are having are going to keep continuing, and people are going to likely come to the same conclusions of, like, we're ready for whatever it takes to freaking clean house if we got to do it. Like, hopefully, um,
Somebody's gonna rise up and say, "Listen, if you elect me, I will get these files out to you."
yeah, and then what if we end up in the same situation again? Elon's going to put somebody up on the America Party side. Guarantee they're going to run on it.
I think Elon is missing the boat. I think Elon, honestly,
And they'll get
he's fell off
1%
a
of the
little bit.
vote. They're
I
gonna
mean,
miss
look,
he's missing the boat with 1% of the vote, and he's gonna then all of his candidates that fall behind are going to go for the Republican side anyway. You can see the way
I,
that he's setting it up.
Elon is. I believe Elon's fucking himself. And
Or
I think I don't think Trump. Honestly, I think Trump would have figured out a way to keep all these incentives for Elon. I think he would
they
have figured
did.
it out.
They did. Are you kidding
No,
me?
no.
They took out they axed all of the new spending that started getting added back into the bill was all EV based credit stuff. It's not going away now. All the
Well,
Green New
I
Deal
mean,
stuff was
the
EV stuff that they got.
$7,500 is gone September 30th for all EVs.
Yeah, but all of the
So,
rest of those and all of the rest of the incentives, because that was a pass down to the customer, right? So all of the rest of the incentives for the companies themselves stayed in. So like
well,
Elon
that's
still
different.
eats.
Yeah, Elon eats, but the customer doesn't benefit anymore.
Mm, streamline your
So all I'm saying,
manufacturing.
is gonna be. I think Tesla will sell itself because listen, a lot of people bought Teslas and they didn't qualify for the rebate. If you look at the demographic, a lot of people don't qualify for the $7,500.
Exactly. Yep.
So it's not like it's gonna hurt Tesla. It'll hurt car makers that are currently building out EVs because like
Tesla
Audi can't
wins.
sell cars, Volkswagen can't sell like all these companies only sell cars because they got the manufacturer itself. The OEMs give out like $20,000 rebates plus you got $7,500 coming back from the government to go ahead and
Yeah.
sell these cars $30,000 to $40,000 under cost. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So Tesla
And
doesn't need to do it. I mean, they're one price shop. That's it.
no,
You
it
don't like
actually
it, don't get
eliminates
it.
his competition. This
100%.
kind of puts a bullet in them at this point because they haven't been able to move stuff for a very long time. They're sitting like even local dealerships got like 20 some odd freaking EVs on their Ford lot over there. Like,
Yeah.
what do you? They can't move them. Nobody wants them. They want gas cars, and that's it's the whole
Yo, you know
Elon
who's in a
thing.
hard position though? Vance. I thought
Yeah.
about this today. Vance is in a hard position because he's gonna run in 2028.
Hmm.
I mean, obviously, that's the obvious choice. He's gonna run.
Yes, he's going to. Yeah.
Whether you like him or not. I know, listen, there's people, they're still on the fence on Vance, and I can understand that. I like Vance. Like he's starting to grow on me. Is is he a politician? Yeah, 100%. He's like a politician, 100.
Hmm.
Like he's not a businessman like Trump, right? Like
But
Trump's a
he's more
straight up just
relatable.
business guy.
He's a more
Yeah,
relatable politician than
100%.
the Republicans have had in a very long time,
But this is
right?
gonna affect. I'm telling you, this Epstein shit is gonna affect. It's gonna affect JD Vance because they're gonna question him and say, "Why don't you go ahead and come out with the goddamn? Why
Yeah.
don't you come out with the goddamn list? Why don't you push for it to come out?" And he's not gonna have an answer.
Yeah, he won't be able to answer in most cases. He just won't. Even if he wants to answer, he won't be able to.
He's gonna have
Um,
to go against Trump, and you can't go against Trump when you have that fan base.
yeah, it's a rock and a hard place, and the Democrat establishment knows that, so they're going to keep hammering on this for the next 3.5 years. That's going to
But
be a sticking point.
also at the same time, if everybody keeps, you said it, Leslie obviously says it all the time. Well, if the Democrats were a part of this, they can't keep hammering at it, right? Because
But-
like they need it to go away.
Well, they could make a promise to release it and then not do it. I mean, they could just, they could
And
just
now
do
we're
the
in a
same shit.
merry-go-round.
Yeah, just keep circle jerking the public with this stuff. And I was going to tell you, I don't know if you've heard my theory on the America Party, right? Because you know who donates, who's donated to the America PAC for the America Party, right? Trump's kids have donated to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and there was some initiatives going forward for some of the local races where the America PAC party was supporting Republican candidates as recently as like 2 weeks ago, and they were putting money in. So, one of the biggest things that we know worked for Trump was a lot of these Democrats that went middle of the road and then shifted over to the Republican side to support Republicans because Trump was top ticket. They wanted to support Trump. They were then supporting down ballot registrations and trying to get the vote out and stuff like that for the Republicans, right? That Trump endorsed. Well, now when you look at the very minimal there's quite a lot of political analysts that have looked at like what kind of impact would it have on Trump's base, and it's very, very minimal, right?
Yeah.
Because when faced with a choice, you're going to pick who's likely going to win, right? They can run some candidates, but if you're quote unquote MAGA, or you've come over because of Trump, what is this really going to do? I think that this is actually going to pull in more of the libertarians and more Democrats. And then how much you want to bet he slowly moves the cheese over to the
Oh,
Republican side?
I mean, there's two theories. One, this is a real fight and it's not a psyop. Two, this is a psyop where he's made a party to go and make sure that they can win the midterms and obviously 2028 by just moving, or just 2026, just
Yeah.
having a bunch of, Democrats jump over to the American Party and then have them vote for a Republican at the end of the day.
Yeah. Because the Democrats are
Or
extra
vote for
weak.
somebody that's going to vote Republican or towards Trump's agendas.
Yeah. And that's where, Democrats have never had worse polling and worse support than what we've seen nationwide. Now, obviously, there's pockets where they're doing quite well still, but in aggregate polls, sentiment and in terms of registration and everything else has continued to plummet since even the election,
Yeah.
for like local races and everything. So if you take those disaffected Democrats, you move them to the middle through an America party that seems like, you know what, he's against Trump, and and he's kind of supports these things that Trump's doing, but he's against him, and I don't like Trump. And then all of a sudden you're now getting into the swing of being in this party and tracking the candidates, and they start moving you over to the right more and more and more. And then you can even run some in the primaries. They don't win, then they go and they support the Republican, because guaranteed we're not going to see too many pure Democrat candidates, or any of those candidates move to the left, because Elon is doing everything he possibly can to destroy the left still. Right now. I mean, he's
I
been
mean,
at it.
Elon's stupid if he sides with like at the end of the day, the Democrats hate Elon. So him siding with the Democrats is just insanity. There's no middle ground if like you're inviting people from the left to come join this party. Like I see all the by the way, nobody wants Rachel Maddow, aka Mark Cuban, a part of their party. Like nobody wants. There are no takers for this. Anyway.
Oh God. But yeah,
I want to thank obviously you, Landy, for coming on, and I want everybody to encourage you guys because a lot of people seek out TA, and here's a guy, Landy, who puts out TA Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Really breaks it down. That can help you elevate your game. I would give him a follow and tune into his stuff. Stay tuned as we'll start shooting his stuff out there on other platforms, but tune in to the stuff that's being posted on X. And you're doing a great job, Landy. Appreciate you, obviously. Appreciate you being a part of this network. Shout out to all the media personalities that are doing their thing on this network. And we'll be back tomorrow. I won't be back because I am off, but Leslie Moda will be back with her cowboy hat, singing some great tunes for you. I'm sure she'll be fucking going ape shit. Her hair will probably be dyed purple. She'll probably have a nose ring on, and she'll be yapping away about how Trump is bad, 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 and how Republicans are bad, and how, the whatever, New World Order, all that shit. So tune in. Nightly news, the nightly recap, powered by GNN. Leslie Motor will be on the ones and twos. She'll be, I don't know who's coming on, but apparently it's going to be all about conspiracies. Enjoy that
Rob?
shit.
Maybe
I
Rob
think
will be
Rob
there.
might be coming on. I don't know. I think you'll probably. I don't know. I don't know who the fuck's coming on. Honestly
I'll
speaking,
probably be there.
but I'll be on at 10 o'clock in the morning tomorrow. Crypto Talk Radio, and I will be doing the shilling space again because I like to showcase all the projects that are being created and have them pitch for 60 seconds and not be able to utter a goddamn word out to express how great their projects are. Love seeing it. And 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'll be back with a breaking down, crypto and politics. 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Hotep Jesus is live on Kick, hosted by Hotep Jesus. Tune in. He's breaking down these events. 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, always Julie Kennis on YouTube breaking down crypto news. The show is called Crypto News. And again, once again, shout out to everybody who is a part of the GNN network. Tune in, follow everybody. They're doing an amazing job. We have more people coming. It is going to be fun to tune into this network and hear all the personalities give their takes on all topics that are trending. On that note, Landy, thank you very much.
Thanks, David.
Love you, bro. I hope you have a fucking phenomenal night. Guys, for everybody who stayed in here and sat back and relaxed, thank you very much for joining in. On that note, we are out.